Hi, so now let us discuss reading and writing fiction. Of course, when we say that we are dealing with writing fiction, we definitely need to learn the elements that we need to consider as we're writing. By the way, when I say fiction, it's a believable make-believe stories. So yeah, let's start now dealing with the characters that we supposed to have as we write our own fiction story. So types of characters. So we have first the primary characters. Primary character is a main character in the picture. There can be one or even a couple of primary characters in a novel. They are essential to the plot of the literary text. Definitely, the first um, character that we need to make mention would be the protagonist. So this is a story. The story rather is shaped around the protagonist, or the story revolves around the life of the protagonist. Um, he is often the main character, and usually the reader sympathizes with the protagonist, and more likely the protagonists are the ones who are trying to achieve a certain goal, and they are the ones who has so much exposure uh, in the story. So these are example of the protagonists. All right. Protagonist can be and often is the narrator of the story. And the narrator can also be an outside figure who observes what is happening to the protagonist and reports it to the audience. The protagonist doesn't have to be a hero. No, that's the reason why sometimes we observe that there are protagonists who are portraying some sort of um, bad attributes or bad behavior in the story. The character might not be likable, but he is still the protagonist because the story is mainly about him. Protagonists don't have to be likable, just like the Grinch does a lot of terrible things, sneaks into homes, steals presents, and tries to ruin Christmas. The Grinch is one of my favorite Christmas movies. He's not likable for much of the story, yet he is the protagonist because the story is about. Next one would be the antagonist. The character who acts against the protagonist is called the antagonist. So the antagonists are the ones who causes problems or causes bad things to happen to our protagonist. Antagonist doesn't have to be a bad guy first. Sometimes the antagonist can be a group of people combined or even an institution. Done with the primary characters. Now let's proceed to the secondary characters. In a novel, you are also introduced to many secondary or minor characters. These characters still plays these characters still play a role in the development of the story and have a purpose, but the role is smaller than the major characters. So more likely secondary characters are the ones who are helping our main character, um, showcase the main character's personality through their interactions, and also give background information about our primary characters. Okay, so now let's talk about that character. Flat character is one that often fits into a stereotype. So they are not likely to develop. And we only see one side of this certain character, and there are few traits to be shown. Okay, so well, more likely a flat character is one of the second characters. Example, grandma in story. More likely a grandma is always kind, loves her grandchildren, comforts and takes care of others. Okay, if this always see of the grandma character, then she is a flat character in the story. After that would be the round characters. A round character is one that is multidimensional, just like the real people. So the round characters are the ones who experiences character development. These characters are complex, and we get to see a glimpse of their complexity in the novel. Usually, your protagonist or our protagonist, and often our antagonists are round characters. Example is Gru, okay? Because we see many sides of him, and he reveals a range of emotions. All right, next one would be the static characters. They doesn't change. Character is exactly the same at the end of Dovell as he was at the beginning of the novel. So this may be because he is a flat character, or he or she doesn't just learn from his experiences. Example, stepmom who are mean at the beginning and still mean at the end of the story. Dynamic characters is one um, dynamic character is one that changes over the course of story. It may be simple shift in attitude or turn around. The character might be wiser or might change his path in life altogether. The change might be for the better. Okay, so yeah, dynamic character are the ones who also undergo some kind of change throughout the plot of the story. Example, Shrek learns to love, is no longer a loner. Then Skywalker is lured to the dark side and becomes Darth. All right. And then we have the stock and foil characters. Stock characters are stereotype prototypes. Example, superhero, villain, jock, dumb blonde. And foil characters serve as contrast to the protagonist by causing the attributes of the protagonist to be emphasized. For example, the wicked stepsisters in Cinderella. Summary of the characters. Check.